Welcome back to the 2017 FIM CEV Repsol. It's the final race of the season, Moto3 race number 2. As you can see in the pit walk earlier on today, it was a very interesting affair. Hiroki Ono there from the NTS team, just handing out some signed photographs to some fans. One of the busiest rounds we've had all season. Somebody getting scared by the bike there also. They are quite loud, I have to be honest with you. So, Moto3 Junior World Championship, race number 2. We've had one race, of course, earlier on today. 18 laps it was. In fact, it wasn't 18 laps, it was 12 laps. More on that in a moment. 4-kilometre circuit, 9 left turns, and 5 right. As we mentioned, the race was supposed to be 18 laps. However, due to an incident that we had on, I think, lap 3 or something like that, it was cut short, and we had the race shortened down to 12 laps as the restart got underway. A disappointing way to get that race going, but nonetheless, it was an exciting affair with a race going right down to the line, as you would begin to expect. And now, riders, teams, everybody getting prepared and ready, Dako, for the start of race number 2. We'll talk to Dako in just a few moments' time. Actually, let's have a look, shall we, at the highlights from race number 1, just to guide you through what happened. Well, it was Jaume Masia who led the way, or was on pole position, but it was Jeremy Alcoba who had the advantage into turn number 1. There was all sorts of squabbling going on further back. Then Mattia Casadei had a high side at turn number 2. A big crash for the Italian rider. Fortunately, he was up and okay before too long. Then there was another crash at turn number 4 with Apiwat Wongtanan on, Tim Georgi and Andy Farid. And then, as if there couldn't be any more incidents, at the final corner, turn number 2 rather, on the start of lap 2, this happened. With Somkiat Chantra and Jari Montella coming to blows. The red flag was thrown. The restart of the race got underway with a 12-lap race distance. Dennis Foggia initially taking the advantage over Jeremy Alcoba, with Vicente Perez and Jaume Masia also coming into the foray. However, then there was disaster for Jeremy Alcoba, because this happened. There was absolutely nothing he could do. High side for, big tank slapper rather, I should say, for Bruno Airachi, and then nowhere for Alcoba to go. Very lucky that they both walked away from that incident. It then became a battle at the front with Alonso Lopez, Jaume Masia, Dennis Foggia, and Vicente Perez, with lots of riders having lots of action. Somebody who had a bit too much action in the gravel trap was Dan Jones. Unfortunately, not the way he wanted to start his final weekend of the year. Tony Elias watched on, looking cool, calm and collected. And then we saw, unfortunately, Tom Booth-Amos chucking it down the road, the British Moto Star champion, just adapting to the bike. So a learning curve for him. Then more riders ended up going down the road. We didn't see that one on screen. You're quite right there. That's one of the 35.70.it Mahindras. It's a name that rolls off the tongue very well. Into the final corner we went, though, and the lead of the race was decided at the line, with Jaume Masia doing absolutely everything to perfection, taking the race victory. And a brilliant way to start it. I did, yeah. That was where Masia slowed down, of course, and left nowhere for Perez to go. A brilliant race for Foggia, who finished in 2nd place. And then a fantastic podium. A brilliant way to start it. And the Cunha de Campeones team were understandably delighted. So my name's Tom Brooks. For the final time this season is Dakota Momola alongside me. The fans are watching on, Dako. Everybody's here. Everybody's full of anticipation, full of excitement. The championship's done and dusted. A nice race we're expecting.
Yeah, and it's the last race of the season. You know, everyone's looking forward for this one. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see what Dennis can do in this race, because, you know, he led for most of the races at the end of that race number 1. And it actually seemed like he was going to win it at one stage. But obviously that last corner in that first race was crazy. And with so many passes, and which finally gave, you know, Masia that win. But like you said, Cunha Campeones is doing great. You know, winning the race 1 in Moto3, and now just winning the race in the ETC class with Alex Toledo. They're having a great weekend, and you could tell that they're from Valencia with 2 wins.
Absolutely. Well, Alonso Lopez, here he is, 15 years of age. He will, as we have been mentioning throughout the course of the day, move up to the Moto3 World Championship alongside Aaron Canet for 2018. Very richly deserved, I would say so as well. He's had a few DNFs here and there, as you can see on the right-hand side of your screen, but 3 wins, 4 podiums, a pole position. He's a very quick, very accomplished rider, and it seems like it's going to fit the bill very nicely indeed. Alongside him on the grid will be the champion of 2017, Denis Foggia. Brilliant stuff from Denis. We'll show you him, I'm sure, in just a few moments' time. In fact, no, I apologise. It'll be Jaume Masia. So that's actually interesting because it was Alonso Lopez who qualified on pole position.
Yes.
He had the quickest time, but it was disallowed for race 1. He was penalised back to 13th place. So Alonso Lopez qualified in first place, so he gets that reinstated for race number 2, of course. That makes sense. Apologies, I'm just trying to clear it up for myself. So Jaume Masia will line up alongside him on the front row of the grid. Then Denis Foggia will be on the outside of the front row. And just how impressed have you been with Denis's season, Daco?
No, it's incredible. Like we saw already in the last race here in Valencia, winning those two races by a mile was incredible. And already him doing a few races in the World Championship as wild cards and finishing always around that top 10 position there already in the World Championship without even starting a season. Being the Moto3 World Junior Champion. And winning so many races, and here he is right here with look at his consistency. You could see, with those 3 wins consecutive, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 podiums, and he's just been dominating this year. And I also think, in my opinion, the VR46 Academy has really helped him and given him a chance to build his talent up with riding dirt track and. In Misano too, and with Rossi and all the top guys in Moto2 and Moto3 in the World Championship. So he's been actually pretty dominating and always battling for that podium positions in each race at the Spanish Championship. And here we have 4th place Jeremy Alcoba, who had a good start of the first race, and I think he's crashed out, so hopefully he can have a much better second race. And then here's Aaron Polanco starting 5th, 17 years old. And he's actually another rider who's actually improved a lot in the past 8 past season. With the last races, he's been really improved in his riding style, and especially in 2 years, because 2 years ago I was his teammate in Moto2. He was actually still racing Moto3, and he wasn't doing so well. And now seeing him in the top 5 now is good to see.
Absolutely, he didn't disgrace himself at all when he substituted for Livio Loy in Aragon either. He did himself a good service there. Perhaps not the end result that he would have wanted, but nonetheless, let's run you through the grid, shall we, for the start of the second and final race of the 2017 FIM CEV Repsol. Lopez, Masia, Foggia on the front row, Alcoba, Polanco, Nepa on row 2, Ayalachi, Cooney and Peleth on row number 3. That is how they line up for the first 3 rows. Row 4, Kazuki Misaki, Sergio Garcia, Somkiat Chantra. Lace View on row 5, Oscar Gutierrez and Andy Farid on alongside him. Row 6, Jacinto Garcia, Iagura and Rory Skinner. And then row 7, Tim Georgi, Charlie Nesbitt, Celestino Vietti Ramos. Row 8, Apiwat Wongtananon, Dan Jones and Jason DePasquier. Row 9, Mattia Casadei, then Andreas Perez and Yari Montella. We're not even anywhere near the back of the grid yet. Lorenzo Petrarca, Gerard Riu and Nicola Carraro. Row 11, Angel Lorente, Tom Booth Amos, Maximilian Koffler, Eva Marias, Kevin Zanoni and Raul Fernandez on row 12. And then the final 3 rows of the grid, Andrea Cavalieri, Davide Pizzoli, Alex Ruiz, Van der Laubmar, Rossi, Faber, Marc Garcia and Sasha De Wit. 44 riders on the grid. Nice and easy.
Yeah, nice and easy. Not in the first 2 laps, though. I'm going to close my eyes for those 2, and you can speak.
Oh, it's going to be an exciting way. It's been a hugely exciting season. We'll talk more about it, of course, after the race and so on. But it has been a very, very exciting year in the FIM CEV Repsol. Moto3 is always good under any guise. Doesn't matter whether it's at a national level, a European level, a world level. It's always exciting.
It is, and some really talented riders here also. So it's good to have a second race in this class, and it's always good to see all these young kids battling each other. And never forget, a lot of these riders, or maybe 4 or 5 of them at the front, are going to move up to the World Championship next year. So it's always a good class to watch out for.
Certainly is. Well, you saw the championship standings very briefly on the right-hand side of your screen there, and of course we know it's all done and dusted with Denis Foggia leading the way. It is still all to play for in second place in the title, so we'll keep you updated with that as soon as, or as much as we can. Some brilliant stuff, though, going on throughout the course of the season. We're going to be losing quite a lot of talent who are going up to the world stage. The likes of Denis Foggia, of course, Alonso Lopez, as we've already mentioned, and so on and so forth. Quite a lot of talent is going to be moving up, but we're going to have a lot of new talent and a lot of developing talent over the course of next year. It's going to be one exciting season, 2018, in the Junior Moto3 World Championship, and we're very excited to see how everybody gets on. So there is your poleman, Alonso Lopez, finally taking his rightful, as you would probably say, place on the grid after a brilliant qualifying. Let's see how we can do over the course of 18 laps, however. Don't forget, alongside him is Jaume Masia and Denis Foggia. We'll talk you through the tyre allocations in a few moments' time once the race has gotten underway and see who is running on what compound of tyre. Could be crucial for these 18-lap races. So Lopez on pole position, Masia and Foggia on the front row. 18 laps and the final race of the 2017 FIM CEV Repsol is underway. A good start from everybody at the front row of the grid, an even better start from Jeremy Alcoba on row number 2. He got a brilliant getaway and is already harrying for the lead as we go for the outside. Here comes Foggia, though, on the inside into turn number 1, but doesn't quite make it stick. It still goes the way of Alonso Lopez. So the poleman manages to hold on to his lead for the time being. Lots of action further back into turn number 2. Hold your breath as we go with Alcoba up the inside of Masia. Our 44 riders all going to make it very cleanly through. Looks like they are for the time being. Brilliant stuff. Great awareness from everybody involved, and a brilliant start there for Alonso Lopez, leading the way from Denis Foggia, exactly how he will want to end his season.
Great start from from these two boys, and already they've created this small gap between Foggia and Alcoba, but obviously it's just the first lap, so everything's going to just, come back together soon.
Exactly right. Well, 18 laps for these guys, of course. It's a long time. We only had 12 last time out, but everybody being a bit more sensible, a bit calmer, and a bit more easy to approach about it now. And it's good to see. We are missing 2 bikes. I think we're missing both of the Stick 58 Squadra Corsa bikes, so they weren't able to get both of those repaired, unfortunately, which is a big shame to end their season in that way. Into the right-hander we go. Lopez, though, brilliant stuff from the Spaniard. He's doing really well.
It's good to see, both Estrella Galicias are strong now at the front, helping each other, and Masia's still there too, and everyone's using that
curve, aren't they? Yeah. Exactly, yeah. Well, Aaron Polanco's really coming into play now as well. Here's the Riali Avintia Academy team watching on. And it's not been a brilliant start for Vicente Perez as well. He's down in 7th position after the opening lap. He's going to be really hoping for some improvements as that's Sergio Garcia running it a bit wide. So the other Estrella Galicia bike out of the 4 that are on the grid is down in amongst the lower positions inside the top 10. So into the left, then the right-hander, we will flick it now. And Lopez already putting a bit of daylight between himself and Foggia. That's exactly what he wants to do. As Masia darts it up the inside of Alcoba, and Alcoba gets done over also by Kazuki Misaki. So a couple of positions in the space of a corner lost there for Jeremy Alcoba. Bit of a shame there for him. He's not taking it lying down. There was Perez! Oh no! And Polanco caught up in there. That was a big shame for all riders involved. They're just wrong place, wrong time. Polanco's furious. I reckon there's going to be some very curious Spanish words going on there. It was Polanco and Perez, and a big shame. We'll see a replay of that, I'm sure, in just a few moments' time. But
I don't think it was Perez's fault either. I think it was I don't know who it was.
Alcoba who slowed.
Alcoba that went in too far deep, and he kind of clipped Perez, and Perez clipped
just a concertina
Polanco.
effect.
So yeah, it's just a racing incident, but
a big shame.
I'd have to see that again.
A shame to end their seasons in the Kitty Litter. Unfortunately, not the way they'll have wanted to have gone into the winter break. But nonetheless, unfortunately, these things do happen.
Which created a gap now between Alcoba and Masia.
Yeah, Masaki's not too far behind either as well. So keep an eye out for that. And that is Vicente Perez walking away. He'll be so disappointed with that. Let's have a look at the incident then here, Daco. I think we're just going to get the end of it. So Let's see if we can get another angle of that crash and see. Here we go.
Here we go.
Let's see what happens.
So here's Alcoba. I think he bumps into. You see, he clips him, and then they both clip down.
Yeah, he slowed on the apex, did he, there, Alcoba? I think he was just
went really to the inside.
Because he was having to take a tighter line, so he slowed down. I think they just caught both of those guys unawares. Here comes Alonso Lopez, because Foggia was back in front. Now it's Lopez back in front. Now it's Foggia back in front once again. Good stuff.
Here it comes.
Brilliant stuff from Dennis Foggia. Alonso Lopez as well, doing absolutely brilliantly. Jaume Masia also in and amongst the mix. Some good racing going on in the Moto3 Junior World Championship. Absolutely incredible way to end the 2017 season. Here comes Lopez. He's going to fight it back up the inside into the final corner. Well, he thinks about it, but can't quite make it stick through there. So has to live to fight another day. So a good gap in the championship. You can see the live title standings. Dennis Foggia, of course, is the world champion. In third place, though, it's all up to play for as Lopez moves up into third place at the expense of Kazuki Misaki at the moment. Delighted to say joining me in the commentary box it's John McPhee. John, afternoon.
How are you doing? Nice to be here.
Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Well, what brings you here, first of all?
Basically, the main reason is to help the Racing Steps Foundation boys. Obviously, Racing Steps Foundation are the ones that have brought me into Grand Prix racing, and yeah, kind of to return the favour. It's a great shame. This is the last round for them running in the CEV, so I'm here to help Dan Jones and Rory Skinner.
Interesting. Well, Dan didn't have exactly the best first race he's ever had. Of course, ended up going down the road. Speaking of going down the road, somebody's got run very wide at turn one. That looks like it was one of the number 32. So that must be. Let's have a look. I'm just trying to see from my entry list. One of the Asia Talent Team bikes. Regardless, they've run a little bit further on. But yeah, it didn't go too well for Dan. But it's been a positive season for both guys, and switched to different machinery as well, and new challenges and so on. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, yeah, running with the KRP squad with Mark Keane and yeah, backed by the Racing Steps Foundation. It's been a difficult period, you know, for all British riders. We've seen now with the British Talent Cup and the British Talent Team being selected, and they've had a good season. We can see both of them are the top Brits in this class, quite easily to the top Brits, and at the minute they're out of a ride, so it's not so easy. But Dan's improved a lot this year. I've been really impressed with him. We know Rory's fast. Rory's been there for the last couple of seasons now, but he's still got age in his side. He's very young, so that's a massive positive for him. But Dan's been the one that I've been impressed with as well. From the start of the season, he kind of coming into the CEV for the first time, he was struggling a little bit with the transition from the UK to Spain, but now the season's been on, both of them are up there, they're both fighting together and they're running the times.
Now you've raced, of course, in the CEV before now. How competitive is it out there in the Junior World Championship?
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, we've seen race one this morning, the lap times these guys are doing. We've got the likes of Foggia, we've got Misaki, who was my teammate here last weekend. They're all guys that are capable of running near the front in GP, so yeah, CEV is something that it's an amazing class. It's a proper stepping stone into GP, and they basically just don't quite have the depth that they do in GP. There's plenty of riders there, but there's a little bit more of a range of lap times from the front to the back, whereas in GP it's that little bit tighter. But I would quite confidently say that the top 10 guys in this can easily hold their own in the GP, and they would be up there and kind of in the mix in the middle of the pack.
Well, we've been comparing lap times to what they were doing just a couple of weeks or last week in GP as well, and very, very similar to what they were setting. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, we've seen Masia a couple of times this year up there. I mean, in Austria he was a standout.
Speaking of Austria, that's Maximilian Koffler. Unfortunately, he's had a bit of a blowout. That's going to be smoking like the Queen Mary coming down pit lane. So
yeah, that was a bit of an odd one there, wasn't it? A lot of smoke. Almost looked as if maybe there was oil on the exhaust or something like that.
That was a strange one, wasn't it? So next year, speaking of KTM, because Dennis Foggia is leading the way, you're moving to a KTM. New challenge for you with the CIP team. Yeah,
really excited. I mean, it all came about in a back to front kind of way, shall we say, and unexpected, but when I turned up in Malaysia and was kind of told on the Thursday, you know, you're out of a ride next year. There's nothing there for you, and that was not what I was expecting. I was led to believe that everything was already signed and done, more or less, back in Aragon. So yeah, coming to Malaysia and to find that out on the Thursday, it was a long weekend. You know, them 3 days on track, I was kind of thinking, well, this might be the last time I'm here, and yeah, thankfully it all kind of fell into place. It's the way it's happened. I'm really fortunate to be with KTM. Looking forward to being on the bike. They've made a massive step forward, and yeah, we've seen race one going into the last lap. There's 3 KTMs in the top 3. So yeah, really looking forward to jumping ship and going there, and think we can have an exciting year.
It's going to be really exciting. I mean, I remember way back when interviewing you years ago for a radio station I used to work for, and I remember talking to you then about how I think you were with Racing Team Germany then or something like that. It was sort of the early days of the career, and then you sort of progressed forward. So what's the aim for you after? What are you aiming for next year? What do you want to step up? What do you want to be doing?
Well, originally my plan was to finish this year strong in the Honda, which, yeah, I mean, this year didn't go completely to plan, but we need to remember we had a couple of bad races and we still managed to finish 7th in the championship. So it wasn't a disaster. My plan then was to move up to Moto2. That was kind of in some ways blocked because for the stepping stone for the whole British Talent team and the Talent Cup to move forward, there was a missing gap there. You know, there wasn't somebody to kind of step in my place. So yeah, the way it's worked out now, obviously the British Talent team will stop in GP. So that then puts me in the foot where I've been given the position to have another year in Moto3, and ultimately we were looking to go out there and try and win races and win the championship. Whether that's going to happen or whether that's going to be possible, who knows? But I'm feeling really confident. I'm feeling good going into the year. And then moving on, 100%, I want to move up to Moto2. I don't want to be stuck in Moto3 forever. Thankfully, I've got my size and my weight and my age on my side. But yeah, it's one of them. It's not my long-term plan. I definitely want to make the step into Moto2, and I think being with KTM, it opens doors. You know, we've seen what KTM are doing in Moto2 now with Binder and Oliveira, and really that maybe gives me then the opportunity, if I perform well for KTM and do my part for them, it might open a door to then step into Moto2 also.
Good stuff. Sounds really exciting. So just cut back to the race, because we've been chatting away about a million things for the last few laps, but it's getting really exciting out in front, as it always is. The top 4 have really broken away now. Foggia, Masia, then Lopez and Masaki, and these guys have been so impressive all season. A great way to end the year, and that, I'm afraid, is Foggia's teammate Celestino Ramos, who has tumbled down the road. So 2 races and 2 DNFs. We've seen that he can be quick on his day, but just struggling with the consistency is the main thing at the moment. Brilliant stuff. So it really is a very, very tight championship. So as I understand it, the information that I've been told, I don't know whether this is true, but RSF, Racing Steps Foundation, aren't going to be in Moto3 here next year. Is that correct? Yeah, it's a great shame. You know, it's what brought me to Grand Prix. I wouldn't be here now without the Racing Steps Foundation, and this is the last race for them. Yeah, the likes of Rory Skinner and Dan Jones at the minute, they're at this precise moment, they're both staying at home next year. I mean, Dan's got the Red Bull rookies there. Rory's done his 3 years in the Red Bull rookies, and now he's basically without a ride, both these guys, and we can see they're the next big thing for the UK. They're by far the top 2 coming on, stepping forward from the UK, and yeah, they're both out of a ride. So obviously, going back to the Racing Steps Foundation, we're all very grateful. It was all from Graham Sharp's own personal money that he's funded cars now for the last 10 years and the bikes for 7 or 8 years, and all these things have to come to an end at some point, but coming from the UK it's not so easy because there's not so many companies that are interested in sponsoring, bringing money for the likes of Dan and Rory and myself to try and move forward. So it makes it a little bit more difficult compared to maybe some of the Spaniards or Italians to try and get the sponsorship and get the rights that you need. Sure. Well, if you had to pick one stand-up person who's been in CEV this year, of the talent that we've seen, who would you say has really sort of exceeded expectations? Difficult one. There's such a depth there of riders that are very talented. I mean, obviously, coming from the British Talent Cup, I need to be supportive of the Dorna guys and the Asia Talent Cup. They've all really impressed me. Yeah, teammates with Masaki at the weekend, he was really impressive. Moving aside from that, obviously Masia was on track with us in Austria, and he was impressive, a little bit crazy, but he was impressive. He was able to run at the front. And then there's Foggia, he wildcarded in Aragon and then again in Valencia, and done a really good job. So it's hard to put a name on one guy. I think we can see that there's probably 4 or 5 guys that I could almost put money on 100%. They're going to be in GP within the next year or 2. Brilliant stuff. Or more competition for yourself at the moment, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's it. That's it.
Exciting stuff. John, thank you so much for joining us in the box. Really appreciate your time. Best of luck for next year, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you again soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Perfect. So there we are. John McPhee joining us in the commentary box here in Valencia for the final race. It is the Moto3 race. We're going to jump straight over to another person who will be joining us as well in a couple of moments' time. I'll talk to you about that. And Dennis Foggia now leads the way. As you can see, Jaume Masia, Alonso Lopez, and the man behind is Kazuki Masaki. Brilliant stuff. And joining me on the commentary box now is the newly crowned European Moto2 champion, Eric Granado. Eric, good to have you. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Very happy and excited for this title. And it was an amazing season. I'm so happy, and thank you for everyone who support me. And yeah, very good. That
you must be on cloud number 9. So happy with the year, and it must be so exciting.
Yeah. It was a very good year. We didn't start so well in the first race in Albacete, and then when we get our first victory, like we get more motivation, and we did 6 wins and 9 podiums. I think this is amazing, and we had points in every race. So this was, I think, the key to achieve this championship.
And the battle with Ricky over the course of the season has been really close, sometimes too close. Estoril, for example. But what are the standout moments with you with Ricky?
Yeah, Ricky is a very hard rider to pass and to beat. He have a lot of experience in the World Championship, and he is very fast. I think this was good for me this year to battle with Ricky, because he's a difficult opponent, and it's good for me to grow up with my level of riding.
Absolutely. We're just going to cut back to the race a second, because it's getting a bit feisty in Moto3 at the moment, as it always does. Lopez now leads the way from Dennis Foggia, Masia in third, Masaki in fourth. These top 4 have really broken away. Incredibly close levels of racing throughout the course of the field. So 2018 then, Eric, up to Moto2 World Championship again with Forward Racing.
Yes.
You must be really excited.
Yeah, I'm very happy. You know, arrived like a European champion, and after 3 years of hard work in the CEV, it's much better than before when I was there. So I think we arrived there with a lot of motivation and with a good level. So now we can battle and be with the big guys.
Fantastic, because I remember when you made your debut back in 2012 on the Moto B machine.
Yeah, 16 years old.
16 years old. I thought, oh, that's. Do you think it was too soon to go into Moto2 at that point?
Yes, I was so young. You know, I had an opportunity from one team, and I had a good sponsor there on that year, and you know, I saw the opportunity, and I said, okay, I'm gonna try. And now looking behind, I was too young, and for sure, arrive like I'm arriving now is much better than in 2012.
And of course, you've raced in Moto3 like we're watching at the moment. What makes it so close? What makes it so good racing?
Yeah, you know, Moto3, especially this year in the CEV, I was a little bit impressed about the level of the riders, because they did the wild cards and was fighting for the top 5, you know. So this is amazing for the championship, because we know that the guys that are going in the front, we arrive in the World Championship and we'll be in the front. So this is good. And I hope this happens to me next year also in the World Championship.
Absolutely. Well, the lead of the race is changing once again. Dennis Foggia still leads from Alonso Lopez. Then comes Masia, then Masaki. So different bikes, 2 KTMs, 2 Hondas, dueling for position. This is going to be an incredible end to the 2017 season. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Really exciting racing fan over the course of the year. So the good thing is, of course, you've had experience in Moto2 before, and you also know most of the circuits that they've been to. So do you think that will give you an advantage to some other rookies next year?
For sure. You know, I just don't know Austria and Thailand, so all the rest I know. This will be a good thing for me. I just have to arrive there and be concentrated on my riding, not to know if it's left or right corner. So this is good. I think the team is very professional, and they will give me all the best to be fast. So, you know, Moto2 is very difficult. Every rider are very close. I did the wild card. I was 0.9 to the first, and I was 18. So need to be very concentrated every time, but it will be good. I think I will learn a lot in the World Championship.
Absolutely. Just had notification that rider number 17 has been given a 5-second time penalty from race direction. That is Ricardo Rossi, I'm afraid to say. Ricardo Rossi currently down in 29th position, so shouldn't affect his race too much because there's quite a big gap as we go a little bit further down the order. But nonetheless, this top four really have broken away, haven't they? There's just battling left, right and centre, swapping paint, changing lines. I mean, you've ridden Moto3 and Moto2 recently, Eric, as well. We see Moto3 is very much in-line riding. Moto2, much more, sideways and a lot more crazy. Why is it so different to ride different bikes?
Yeah, Moto3 is always very smooth and the bike don't move a lot because you need the speed in the corner because the bike don't have so much power. So if you see, they are every time trying to take the slipstream and everything. And these, you gain a lot with the slipstream. In the Moto2, you have to prepare a lot of the exit of the corner because you have more power and the bike slides more, and you have to change your riding style during the race because the tire is going down. So you have to stand up the bike a lot in the last laps. That's what I get a lot of time to learn, and now I know how to do it a little bit better than some years ago. In Moto3, if you are following the first one, and you are smooth, you can be fast.
Absolutely. And just finally as well, where did you get your shoes from as well? Because they are the brightest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, I always use these shoes on the Sunday of the race and no more. Just on Sunday is my lucky shoe. So I always use that. So I think today gave me a lot of lucky and I will continue like this.
Fantastic. Eric, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Really good season and wish you the very best in Moto2 next year.
Thank you for everyone who watched me in the TV and see you soon.
Thank you very much. Eric Renardo, newly crowned European Moto2 champion of 2017. Thanks to him for joining us in the commentary box. So 6 laps to go then in the final race of the season here in the CEV Repsol. Here comes Lopez. He's up the inside of Dennis Foggia once again. Bit of a bump there for Masaki. He is running it a little bit ragged now, and Massey is just in touch. Here comes Foggia as well. It's getting very close and very calm. Some quick laps though, Dakota, coming in from all of the guys in the top 4.
Yeah, they're running, in the mid-40s, and to be honest, even the group behind them, with Yuki and Garcia and Alcoba, they're all also running in the mid-40s, but they've already created that 4-second gap and from the start of the race. So, but lap times are quick. The best lap time was set by Jaume Macia with a 39.5. So it's some quick lap times, nearly similar to the ones in the World Championship in the race pace. So. Like John McPhee said, the pace is fast here.
Absolutely. Well, we can see the battle for 5th place is going on a bit further down. The 2 Australia Galicia bikes of Jeremy Alcoba and Sergio Garcia, who are leading the way. Let's not forget those guys. They're still very young, still very much learning their trade in their first years in the championship. Also, just behind as well is number 33. That's Yuki Kuni, Asian Talent Cup rider for this year, alongside the Moto3 duties. Jacito Garcia not too far behind also. And then comes the number 32 of Iagura, of course, Iagura, who ran on a little bit earlier on, but has managed to keep his eye on the prize. Oscar Gutierrez also not too far behind either. So some really good racing going on here in Moto3. Lots of close little battles, sort of in their own little groups there, Danko, as well. They're sort of all spread out.
Yeah, they're all kind of spread out, but some good groups for good passing, and especially for these last few laps. And this second group here is pretty intensive with both Estrella Galicia bikes and both Asia Talent Cup team bikes. So be good few laps with these boys, and for the top 5, top 5th finish.
Certainly will be. Into the right-hander we go. Still at the moment in this little gaggle between 5th all the way down to 10th position, isn't it? So yeah, it's some incredible battles going on, as we say. And at the moment, it is still the Australia Galicia duo who are holding on to that position. At the moment, it's Alcoba with Garcia looking to try and find a way up the inside. He gets the move done and dusted. So Alcoba not.
Someone's down.
Oh no, that's Kazuki Misaki from 4th place.
No.
Oh, a shame for Kazuki. A disappointing way to end what's been a brilliant season for the 2017 Asian Talent Cup champion, and it was a front ender at turn number 9. How many times have we seen that?
A lot.
It happens so frequently, doesn't it?
A lot.
Exactly the same place that Andrea Dovizioso crashed. Yep. So the top 4 then becomes a top 3. And at the moment, it's looking like Dennis Foggia is going to win the final race of the season, a fitting way to end his career. But let's not forget the top 3 riders here in this race, the top 3 that will currently stand on the podium, will all be moving up next year. So they'll all want to be taking a win up to their new venture.
And good end of the season too, way to finish. And but I wouldn't, I wouldn't let Lopez out of the bag, because he's right behind Foggia, and he's just checking where Macia is at behind him. Oh,
indeed he is. That's incredibly
nearly
close.
loses the front in turn 2.
Very, very close. Here comes Garcia, who's looking at the inside of Alcoba. No way to make it through there. Meanwhile, the 2 Age Talent Team bikes are still going hammer and tong, aren't they? Good race also for Charlie Nesbitt and Rory Skinner as well, the 2 British riders in 13th and 14th place respectively. Brilliant stuff. They're from the... Oh, that's Andre Cavalieri, I apologise, on the other JHK Leglise bike. They've been a bit anonymous this season, the JHK Leglise team, after such a strong 2016 campaign. And I'm afraid it just doesn't get any better for them. Andre Cavalieri, Lorenzo Petrarca, they've been a bit down in the dumps on board those KTM machines. And of course the other Leglise team on the Mahindra, well, the less said about them this year, the better, I'm afraid to say. It's been a challenging year, a character building year, they call it. At the moment, though, the top 3 still line astern. Foggia, Lopez, Macia. I was going to say Masaki then, not Masaki. Of course, he's gone
anyone's
down.
win.
Sorry?
It's anyone's win.
Yeah, it's absolutely anybody's game, isn't it, at the moment? And the sun is beginning to sort of go down here. Well, I say beginning to go down, beginning to set a little bit, or move a little bit further away.
We just haven't been in the sun, so it just looks like it's going away.
Absolutely, yeah, this is probably true. Probably very true. So 4 laps are soon to become 3 remaining here at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo, the last race of the FIM CEV Repsol 2017. That battle for 5th place is really getting very hairy behind, isn't it? Some brilliant stuff at the moment. Still, at the moment, in P number 5, it is Garcia. And obviously Gutierrez actually as well has made some good ground, and actually Yukuni also, as we've said, in and amongst the mix. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead looks like it might change hands, but not too much. Massi is up into 2nd place. Meanwhile, Garcia is in 5th place ahead of Alcoba. Here comes, though, Yuki Kuni up the inside of Ayagura. Does he make it stick? Yes, he does. Oscar Gutierrez in the back of this little gaggle. Through the left, then into the right-hander we go. Just holding on very nicely at the moment as we cross back to the 2 leaders, and it's still Macia ahead of the number 21 of Alonso Lopez. So Macia's done a great job to get himself ahead, and now he's going to be able to mount a charge and maybe take 2 out of 2 victories. He's currently on his 2nd consecutive one. Could be able. And
that'll definitely crown him 2nd in the championship, won't it?
Should be able to, yeah. We'll have to wait for final confirmation of that. But this is a very, very exciting end to the Moto3 Junior World Championship. What a season 2017 has been, and it's certainly not over yet. Garcia ahead of Alcoba, 5th place now. And Ayagura also getting in and amongst the mix as well. Keep an eye out, see what happens. Oscar Gutierrez also in there as well as Jacinto Garcia, who's just dropped to the back of that little group. When I say little group, it's actually quite a large group. And all while they're battling as well, it's getting a bit close, a bit further behind as well for, what's that, Stefano Nepa, isn't it? Yeah, so interesting.
2 laps to go.
And Alonso Lopez darts towards the outside of Jaume Macia. He thinks about a bit of a move around the outside, but you're not going to be able to do it around there. It's very much one at a time. And the problem there is he's lost a lot of momentum, and he's going to lost a lot of drive, so he's going to have some ground now to make up against Macia. The problem is that Macia and both Foggia, the leader, are riding out of their skin at the moment. It's been an incredible year from all of these guys. Into the right, had a bit of a head shake there on the front from Macia. He pushes that front end very hard. We've seen that over the course of the year.
And so this is a kind of track that you really need a good front end turning, and you rely a lot on the front here. I know that, and if you are struggling a little bit, there's a big crash in
the background there. We're not sure who that is. We'll give you an update. We might see a red flag thrown here depending on how long it takes to get the rider into safety. So we'll give you an update as soon as we can on that. We haven't heard anything from race direction as of yet. Battle though with the lead still going on. As here comes Lopez up the inside of Macia into the right-hander of turn number 11. Does he make it stick? Yes, he does. Good bit of riding there from Alonso Lopez. He's riding smart now, isn't he? This is the thing we've seen with Foggia as well. He's not necessarily ridden the quickest over the course of a race, but he's ridden very smart.
Yeah.
And that's allowed him to put himself in positions such as the lead of the race.
Here comes Lopez.
Hard on the brake to go to the final corner. Is he going to make it stick? Not through there. Out of the final turn we go now, and over the timing line to complete the penultimate lap. Start the last one. Goes defensive. Does Dennis Foggia, the 18-year-old from Rome, moving up to the World Championship, as are all of the top three. We head into the first corner with the three leaders. We look back, though, to 5th place, and there's still a great battle going on. The two Asia Talent Team bikes of Cooney and Agora coming very, very close indeed, as Garcia has lost out. He's lost a couple of positions in the space of a start-finish straight, as Gutierrez also comes into play as well. This is going to be a titanic battle for position.
Turn 2.
Are they all going to make it through? Yes, they are. We cross back to the leaders meanwhile. Brilliant stuff from Dennis Foggia, riding defensively, riding brilliantly. And the man in second place, Lopez, is just not able to have an answer for him at the moment. And it will
back here is the famous corner where a lot of them can pass. But I think it's going to be a last corner deal.
Well, we've seen that, of course, in the European Talent Cup. We saw it, of course, in race number 1 earlier on today. Into turn number 9 we go. Hard on the brakes. At the moment, it's still Foggia who's managed to keep the advantage. He's got such confidence in the front end of that KTM. When was the last time you saw him going down the road with a front end issue? Almost never. It hardly ever happens. Lopez getting very close on the brakes.
Takes a smart little look into there, but it's not an easy corner, and Dennis just closes the door on him.
He's going to need the drive as we come into the final few corners, into the quick right-hander. Now he needs the pounce. Now is where he's going to need the drive. Into the left-hander, over the brow of the hill. It's going to be Foggia's race to lose. Lee goes defensive. Lopez goes towards the outside, into the final corner. Will he be able to mount a charge, or will he be able to get it on the line? It's going to be incredibly close. Track limits are being exceeded by Dennis Foggia as we get ready to come over the timing line. Foggia takes the final win of 2017. Absolutely brilliant stuff.
And who gets 4th?
In 4th place. Now Koba takes 4th position.
Great race in the back too.
Incredible stuff there in the Moto3 Junior World Championship. Foggia takes the final win of the 2017 season. We know he's already the Junior World Champion. Absolutely brilliant, faultless season from the Italian from Rome. 18 years old he is, and he will jump up to the full-time World Championship next year. Alonso Lopez, 2nd position. And Jaume Masia, the final podium. All 3 riders, as we've said, will be stepping up to the Worlds next year to make their full-time debut. What a year it has been from all of the riders. Incredible stuff. In the battle for 5th place, it was Ayagura who managed to get the position into 5th place. Then Sergio Garcia was 6th. Oscar Gutierrez was 7th. Yuki Cooney 8th. Sergio Garcia really lost out on that last lap. He ended up down in 9th place as some burnouts take place from Dennis Foggia.
Fantastic season this boy's had. And he should be really proud of himself, and just been dominating. And I think he's won 5 or 6 races this year already.
Yeah, he has. He's been incredible as Dennis Foggia. A brilliant season for him. And we've seen, of course, with his his World Championship wildcards and the like, that he has certainly proven to be a very, very worthy competitor. And he will be a force to be reckoned with, and I'm sure maybe another double world champion. A message from Race Direction. Rider number 16, a 5-second time penalty. So let's have a look through the list and see. Rider number 16 is Alex Ruiz. Ruiz was quite far down the order as I understand it. Just trying to find, our timing screens are slightly small here, so we have to get the binoculars out to try and see who's finished.
He's 20th
position, so he's going to lose out a little bit there, but nothing in terms of points. Repeatedly exceeding track limits. We've seen that over the course of the day. We'll be hearing from the race winner, Dennis Foggia, and of course we'll be hearing from him and talking about his championship. Brilliant final race of the 2017 season. Great to have John McPhee and the newly crowned European Moto2 champion Eric Granado also in the commentary box. And dabbing Dennis one more time in 2017. Why not? Absolutely brilliant stuff from the 16-year-old Italian. I stand corrected. Apologies. I don't know why I thought he was 18. 16 years old, of course. A great season for him, the junior VR46 team. Well, he'll be staying within the VR46 Academy, but moving away from that team for 2018. And it's been an incredible year for all of them involved. It took a long time to get his first victory, let's not forget. It took until here for race number 1. And then when he won race number 1, he cleaned off in race number 2 as well. Brilliant stuff. And dare say Alonso Lopez isn't too unhappy with second place as well. What are they chanting down there? Something that's incomprehensible, at least to me. There we go. Dennis Foggia. Beautiful stuff. Lovely scenes here in Parc Survey. Looks like the happiest man alive, doesn't he? Quite rightly so. So some final results then from the last race of the 2017 season. Dennis Foggia takes the victory, 74 thousandths ahead of Alonso Lopez. Jaume Masia in third place, Jeremy Alcoba in fourth, Ayagura in fifth position, Sergio Garcia was sixth, Oscar Gutierrez, a brilliant ride from the Leopard Racing Honda in 7th place, Yuki Kuni inside the top 8, and Jacinto Garcia on board the FAL 55 Racing KTM machine in 9th. Tokiat Chantra completes the top 10, Stefano Neffa, Jason DePasquier in 12th, Rory Skinner in his final ever CEV race for the Moto3 Junior World Championship in 13th, with Dan Jones in 14th, so good points for the Racing Steps Foundation team. Bit further down the order, Apiwatwong Tananon never really clicked for him this weekend. We've seen some impressive performances from him though in 2017. He'll be hoping to make the same steps forward for the 2018 season. Outside of the top 20, Alex Ruiz, Ivan Marias, Gerard Riou, Lorien Faber, Sasha De Wits, Ricardo Rossi with that 5-second time penalty, so on and so forth down the order. So some highlights then from the race. Well, it started with Alonso Lopez, of course, taking that pole position, and it was Dennis Foggia who got himself up into second place. Meanwhile, further back down the order, there were some great overtakes taking place. However, incident on lap 2 saw Aaron Polanco and Vicente Perez going down the road, unfortunately, with Jeremy Alcoba also caught up in the incident. Number 21, Alonso Lopez, then hit the front as Dennis Foggia tried to fight it back. It was an almighty scrap between the top 2, which then soon became the top 4. Meanwhile, we saw Maximilian Koffler ending up going down the into pit lane as Celestino Bianchi Ramos went down the road. Into the left-hander we go, and once again, Masia, Lopez and Foggia in ascending order were getting themselves in and amongst the mix. Kazuki Kawasaki was also a big threat in that race, as we saw Lopez once again holding true and holding firm. Incredible stuff here in the Junior Moto3 World Championship. Over the timeline we went, there was a great battle for position, 4 riders in their own little breakaway group battling for the lead of the race. Into the left-hander, Masia found his way up the inside once again. Not for long, because then came Foggia and Lopez and Masaki. Into turn number 1 we went, but it all went wrong for Masaki just a few corners later. Turn number 9, he went down the road, lost the front end, and that was curtains for his 2017 season. Meanwhile, further back, an almighty scrap for 5th place took place between Alcoba, Sergio Garcia. Then we saw Andrea Caplieri also hitting the deck at the final turn. Big shame to end that season. Meanwhile, Lopez found his way up the inside of Jaume Masia in the final stages of the race. It was Lopez who was challenging for the lead. He tried the outside line into the final corner, didn't have an opportunity to use it because a beautiful defensive ride from Dennis Foggia allowed him to come over the timing line and claim the final victory of the season, his 3rd of the year at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo, to complete what has been a brilliant 2017 season in the FIM CEV Repsol for the Junior Moto3 World Championship. Absolutely beautiful. 16-year-old from Rome celebrating with his team. They were delighted. Absolutely over the moon. And Dabbing Dennis we saw as well. And the Rockets does indeed power to the top once more. Stunning stuff here in the FIM CEV Repsol. What a season it has been, as we've said, over the course of the last few months. Incredible stuff, incredible close racing over the course of the whole season, as a matter of fact, but especially in the last few months when it's come down to the championship, it's been mighty, mighty close. To Alonso Lopez then, just nearly thinking about the top 7, then thinking, oh yeah, wait, no. No, second place. Brilliant stuff. So 2 different nationalities occupy the podium. And we'll have the Constructors' Trophy presented by the director of the circuit, Ricardo Tormo. Then the 3rd place finisher of Jaume Masia. Another bit of silverware for the Cuna de Campeones team to take home. A victory earlier on this morning and 3rd place this afternoon. So 2 wins in the 3rd place over the last 3 races. A good way to conclude your 2017 season, if you ask me. Got the Deputy Director of the National Sports Council to present Alonso Lopez with his 2nd place trophy. Oh, there's the anticipation rising for Denis Foggia. They're waiting for his trophy to be presented. Are we ready? It's going to be a massive round of applause, a massive cheer, and there we go. Denis Foggia, a faultless season from the Italian. Well deserved. That's petrol check from Repsol Honda. And now it's time for the national anthem. Denis Foggia crowned the Junior Moto3 World Champion back in Aragon. He, along with Alonso Lopez and Jaume Masia, move up full-time to the World Championship in 2018. What an exciting prospect that is going to be. We're so excited. Brilliant stuff here for the FIM CEV Repsol this year. What a year it has been. We'll bring you the final championship standings, I'm sure, in a few moments' time for the Moto3 Junior World Championship. But what a season, as we said, it has been. Let's have a look then at the championship standings in the Moto3 Junior World Championship. Well, Denis Foggia, of course, we already knew he was the champion going into the weekend. Jaume Masia does take 2nd position after what's been a brilliant weekend from the Spanish rider. Alonso Lopez in 3rd, Vicente Perez in 4th, Jeremy Alcoba in 5th, Kazuki Misaki 6th, Sergio Garcia 7th, Ayagura in 8th, Aaron Polanco in 9th position. 10th place, Makar Yuchenko, who will also be in the World Championship next year, incidentally. Yuki Kuni in 11th, Apiwat Wongtananon in 12th. Rory Skinner finishes his last Moto3 Junior World Championship in 13th place. Jacito Garcia in 14th, Aleix Viu in 15th, Petrarca 16th, Andy Farid 17th, Yari Montella in 18th position. And then as we look a little bit further down the order, we'll see Charlie Nesbitt in 19th, Tomkiat Chantra 20th, Stefano Nepa in 21st, Davide Pizzoli in 22nd, then Gerard Riu 23rd, Bruno Blasi Irachi in 24th, Celestino Ramos in 25th, Oscar Gutierrez in 26th, and Philippe Salak in 27th position. Well, the championship podium now then. Presented to the 3rd place man of Alonso Lopez, a nice medal to be wearing home. And then presented to the man in 2nd place, of course, Jaume Masia. And of course, Dabbing Denis, the world champion of 2017 in Moto3. A brilliant season from all involved. As you can see, the top 3 there of the championship. Hopefully we'll get the chance to talk to Denis in just a couple of moments' time and gather his thoughts on the race and indeed the season in general. That would be something absolutely wonderful. Stunning stuff as the music plays out over the circuit, Ricardo Tormo, as everybody now reflects and celebrates a superb 2017. What a year it has been across all 3 classes. The debut, of course, of the European Talent Cup, Moto2 European Championship going right down to the final round. And then an enthralling season
Dennis,
in the Moto3 Championship.
Race winner and also 2017 Moto3 Junior World Champion. You must be happy with that.
Yeah, I'm very happy for this race, for this year with my team Junior. There was in this race, there was difficult condition, very, very hot, but I'm very happy for me, for my team. I'm very happy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to my team, to my sponsor, a lot.
Thank you. Now in Italian, please.
Sì, sono molto contento di questa gara, per il mio team che ha fatto un lavoro straordinario. Niente, dovrei ringraziare tutto il team, Uccio, Luca, Brivio, il mio team manager. Niente, sono molto contento per questo anno che alla fine è il mio primo mondiale vinto, spero ce ne siano altri. Ringrazio il mio team e tutti i miei sponsor. Ciao!
A superb 2017 season in the FIM CEV Repsol. What a year it's been. Thank you so much for joining us over the course of the year. It's been a pleasure to have brought this to you from Dakota Momola alongside me and from myself, Tom Brooks. It's been absolutely wonderful. Have yourself a wonderful off-season. We'll see you on the 25th of March in Estoril for the start of the 2018 FIM CEV Repsol. Take care. We'll see you soon.